Hey, wrestling fans, welcome once again to an episode of Wrestling After Show. I'm Heath Haynes.
I'm Jonny Fairplay.
And we're here to discuss, I don't know, whatever we want to talk about, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a freewheeling wrestling podcast. I know that some of our tried and true audience, they've become accustomed. We don't really have much of a game plan. Well, I mean, we got a loose game plan, but we like to keep it pretty off the cuff here on Wrestling After Show.
Well, you told me to take notes, and I drew pictures.
Okay, there it is. That's how we roll, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to talk about some stuff today. The main topic is going to be the not Joe Hendry.
All right.
Joe Hendry. Although I do want to hear your report from the NXT PLE that I didn't watch that you did.
Sure.
But we're going to be talking about, once again, Drew McIntyre and CM Punk, the feud that refused to die, once again here on Wrestling After Show. But we're going to kick things off today with a review of the Bash in Berlin PLE that we previewed last week, and we had some predictions, some thoughts on what could happen, and we're going to see, I don't know, how accurate, how inaccurate we were.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, not really.
All right.
Not really. Did you enjoy the show?
I enjoyed it so much, I watched it twice.
That's right. You had your buddy over.
Yeah,
You guys
Lawyer Bud was over here, and I have a casual fan perspective to bring to the table as we're doing our review.
Can't wait to hear that.
Sure.
Can't wait to hear that. I enjoyed the show. Of course, you came over to Haynes Manor.
Yeah.
And we watched
I thought it was
show.
Casa Heath and Fairplay Manor.
Haynes Manor just kind of rings.
Sure.
It rings true to me.
Okay.
You came over. We enjoyed some nice food. My dad watched. Now that's a casual fan for you, right?
Oh yeah.
There.
Well, so casual. He left rather. Once the food was imbibed, he was like, "All right, you guys enjoy your male soap opera."
Thanks. Yeah. Thanks for having me over, guys.
Play with your Barbies.
Yeah, have fun. Have fun.
Your male Barbies.
Yeah, I thought it was a good show. There were a couple of things we'll get into through the course of the review that there's always some stuff that hits, some stuff that slightly misses. I guess we'll start off with the Cody Rhodes title defense against Kevin Owens, and this was pretty predictable, I'd say.
Yeah, well, predictable in the outcome.
Sure.
However, I think a lot of people had their ears triggered and eyes peeled for a potential heel turn. We didn't see it happening this quickly, even at all.
No.
And we were correct in that.
We were correct in that.
Maybe even reverse heel turn in that had the opportunity to capture the championship, did not kick in that killer instinct.
That's true. I do appreciate that facet of the match, though, because, like you said, it was kind of predictable. You and I didn't see a heel turn coming. Cody was going to retain the championship. But, that little added drama of the leg injury,
sure,
did add a little something for the match. But the finish, I thought, and I think this was the case with the main event as well. The finish felt a little abrupt for me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel that this match needed 18 Cody cutters or crossroads or 15 kickouts of a stunner. So I'm okay with the abrupt finish in the way that it wasn't overkill with finishers. I like those for WrestleMania. I'll allow them for a SummerSlam, but Bash at Berlin, you're not. You kick out of 15 stunners, I have a problem with the match.
It keeps both of them strong, too.
It does. It does.
And because nobody needed to come out of this match, being demoralized or whatever. And it was good to see, they raise each other's hands and all is well in the Codyverse.
Yeah. So I feel there's comparability to this feud and the AJ feud in that we kind of know the outcome, but they sprinkled a little special sauce on the AJ thing with the faux retirement, and this with the knee injury, and is Kevin going to turn? Is this serviceable for a Cody title reign? Or is this because if I had told you The story ends at WrestleMania.
Okay.
Cody captures the championship. And you're like, oh well, sky's the limit. What's going to happen? Is Will Ospreay coming over?
Mm-hmm.
Is Kenny Omega jumping ship?
Mm-hmm.
Sting returning? Did Hulk Hogan find the Fountain of Youth? What are these crazy potential matches? Are we going to go ahead and unify him and Gunther? And we start with AJ Styles, and we follow up with a solo thing that was thanks to Jacob Fatu was serviceable. But but then Kevin Owens. Are we okay with this?
That's a great question, Johnny. I'm gonna say yes, just because I'm a fan of Cody, and they're not doing anything glaringly, what I would say, quote unquote, wrong, or or unjustified. I think, it's still early in his title reign. He is kind of he's a fighting champion. And so he's, answering challenges from both sides of the locker room, if you will. And they're giving these matches enough drama. Like we said, he's not losing this early in the reign, but they're doing enough to, where these challenges are not threats necessarily, but there is a little meat on the bone story-wise to get invested in. And I think just enough of that is fine.
I think so too. And I think as a wrestling fan, not a casual fan, I think it works for the casual fan, but I feel like us, like wrestling fans, not necessarily to level sickos, as Tony Khan would say, that we just care about matches, nothing but matches, and more matches, and longer the match, and the better, and the more moves you do. Yeah. So not to that level, but as wrestling fans
and students of the game, I'd say.
Sure.
Yeah.
I love an AJ Styles. I love a Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
So I want those people not necessarily rewarded with that spot, but guys that it's just like, man, how cool would it be to see, Cody and AJ, before the skill level is subpar, or not even sub, just below average. Like AJ still has gas in the tank.
For sure.
Kevin Owens still has gas in the tank. I'm glad we got to see 2 great matches with AJ Styles and
three with the 2 with AJ. Yeah.
And I think another. I think we're going to get another with Kevin Owens. Maybe we're not.
Possibly.
He may be going on. But I love seeing these feuds that it's not Hogan finding the Fountain of Youth and coming back for one more match. It's not The Rock yet. It's not. It's not Kenny Omega.
It's the guys that are on the roster.
Yes.
That I don't even want to say can still go. They can just they can go, man. They can do a good match. And
I don't feel like I would love to see if Will Ospreay would have come to WWE. I feel AJ Will Ospreay. At the end of that match, no one's going, man, AJ did about as good. Like, I think at the end of that match, we would have been like, wow, AJ can still do everything he could do before, but maybe even smarter.
To your point, I'd like to speak to that for a second. And I made this observation when we were watching. As far as Kevin Owens is concerned, talking about a guy who, has never been the picture of, a wrestler, your perception in your mind of what you expect a wrestler to look like.
Randy Orton, according to JBL, but JBL never said that.
He's always been a little bit big, but he's always been able to pull off great shit for his size and his sort of, physical condition. He's in better condition now than I feel like he ever has been in his career, but he's got some age on him, and he can still do some pretty, not that acrobatics is the end all be all for a good wrestling match, but he can pull off some acrobatic stuff in that ring, and he hasn't missed a step in all these years. He's avoided major injury. I just love the way he moves in the ring, and that was on full display.
Yeah,
in Berlin.
Work smarter, not harder. But it's not like he's pulling back some stuff. He's just like, make the stuff count. He understands his Impact stuff. He understands the ring psychology. So no, Kevin Owens is just one of those guys that for forever can. I think work the majority of that style of match, and we're seeing no slowdown. I love the fact he's been given the opportunity. But as far as like the picture of a wrestler, Kevin Owens embodies the picture of a wrestling fan.
For sure.
And I think that's the appeal of Kevin Owens, in which, I know he would be a great heel. We've seen him be one of the greatest heels of all time. But at the same time, there's something about Kevin Owens that if you go to a WWE show, and I would say 9 out of 10 guys that have a championship belt on their shoulder look exactly like Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
from head to toe.
And also, I think you got to give credit to WWE. If I think part of his longevity is due to the fact that he got to WWE when he did in his career, because he loved to do stupid shit on the indies.
Yeah. And I was there for him and Generico.
And if he was able to continue just doing stupid shit on the indies, like he might not be in as good a shape as he's in today. But a little bit of training.
But I will say that I'm going to sneak this in now, and this is going to come up later, but I have a huge chance of forgetting because I'm a little scatterbrained. I don't know if anyone's paid attention. I believe it was Michael Cole that quoted JBL saying, if you were to make a wrestler, if you were to build a wrestler, Randy Orton would be it.
Yeah.
And that is not a quote from JBL.
Oh yeah,
because JBL would have said sports entertainer.
Oh yeah. Because he's a company guy through and through.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. So
let's go ahead and move on to the other big title match on the show. We had Gunther defending the World Heavyweight Championship against the aforementioned Randy Orton, and in a wild match that sort of defied not expectations, but well, it kind of did, because our conversation going into it was like, okay, who's the heel, who's the baby face? And we were thinking, okay, hometown Gunther will be the quote unquote baby face, but I did not expect him to sell like he did.
I didn't like it.
He spent the majority of this match selling for Randy Orton, which if you're going to sell for anybody, sell for Randy. But it was a different look for our world's heavyweight champion, and just right out of the gate, you did not like it.
No, well, getting back to the Create a Wrestler, you're a big fan of the 2K Sports franchise.
I am,
and shout 2K. I'll be hitting you up for the next one for both me and Heath. We got because we got a battle.
Yeah,
I need you to practice so you're good.
Oh, enough. I need to practice.
Well, one of us does.
One of us definitely does.
Who's to say?
Continue.
Okay. So if you do the Create a Wrestler mode and you grab the Iron Sheik's body, you can make a Randy Orton right now.
Just stick Randy Orton's head on the Iron Sheik body.
It's wild. Back in the day, they used to refer to it, and
it's like the muscle gut.
Barrel chested is what they say. I used to follow it up with more like a keg.
He does. He's got. It's like, and it's not a gut. It's not fat, but it's like
a keg.
Because
have you ever carried a keg?
I have carried several.
They're solid.
Yeah.
They're heavy. They're round.
It's the fuel tank. I mean, Randy Orton has a massive fuel tank right now, and he needed every bit of that fuel, because this was a long match,
longer than it wasn't. You know what? I would say longer than it needed to be or should have been, but maybe that's. I'm glad that Randy could go there, because I didn't. He throws on the headlock. They're cheering. So I don't feel I necessarily had a problem with the length of the match.
I didn't say it was too long. It was long, though.
It was long.
It was a world heavyweight style, world heavyweight championship style of match.
Yeah. So I don't have a problem with the length of the match. I feel that the producer or agent of that match overestimated the likability of Gunther versus the unlikability of the foreigner that is Randy Orton in Germany. because I don't like. I felt that Gunther had the crowd, but I feel Randy had the crowd too, and it could have been more kind of babyface versus babyface versus Randy working more heel and us not getting a Gunther
That's
match.
the thing. Randy didn't really work heel as much as, because he didn't break the rules. He didn't go for cheap shots. But he was definitely in command.
The aggressor.
He was definitely in command for the majority of the action. And you had Gunther working from underneath, but not from like a sympathetic perspective.
No.
So at no point was anybody in that crowd like, come on, Gunther, let's cheer for the little guy.
Power up, buddy.
But eventually he did, and there was some stiff action, and like I said at the end of this match, again felt a little abrupt for me. But I would like at this point to touch on another thing we mentioned in our preview. We were wondering about the European crowd, the crowd in Berlin for this match, and with the singing and everything. They did the wave.
Which literally drove Heath insane. For those of you that were not at Heath Manor,
that is
doing
the wave. That's so disrespectful to me, to the guys in the ring. But Randy got into it. Smiling Randy just fucking loves everything the fans are doing now.
Oh, he'll sign an autograph for you, kiss a baby.
Holy shit!
Is he running for office?
He not necessarily have my vote, but I think there are several people out there he would have their votes. Yeah, so Smiling Randy didn't give a fuck that they were doing the wave during his match.
Beach balls.
I, however, had a big problem with it. But I would say overall, the European crowd
in Germany,
it was not as annoying to me as, say, some of the other crowds they've had.
I think it helped that Bailey wasn't there on the PLE.
Yeah, man. This wasn't on the PLE. This was on the SmackDown the night before. And I would actually say that the silence of the crowd during the Cody KO promo in-ring segment added to the drama.
The exact polar opposite of what we had during the AJ Cody go home deal in Paris.
And everybody's just like, whatever the song was.
Yeah, we didn't even,
Yeah, you could hear a pin drop, man, and they didn't sweeten up the crowd noise and everything.
They wanted those. Well, they're polite.
Yeah.
B, they're respectful, and C, they wanted to hear what the shit they were saying.
I loved it. So as far as European crowds go,
Germany's number one.
Yeah, Germany's number one for me.
Minus the wave for you.
Minus the wave.
Yeah.
Don't get me started. Wait, you already did.
So hold on. Before we were, I didn't know if you were about to go leave the Randy match. I wanted more Gunther chops. I love that part about the match because because Randy, knowing the chops are a big weapon for Gunther, he worked on that right arm the whole time. He worked on that chopping arm, therefore leaving the chops. Getting them off the table.
Except for that one he gave him from the back, man. Woo! That was good. That was sweet.
That one landed.
That was sweet.
Do you think that was just a psychology thing, or do you think Randy's like, yeah, I'm not going to take 25 minutes worth of chops, dude. So here's the deal. I'm going to hurt your arm pretty early.
Yeah.
And I'm just not going to take chops.
Maybe so. I mean, he's a wily veteran and a skilled backstage politician, so maybe he did work that into some of the or maybe he just called it in one of the 30,000 spots that they called during that match. Holy shit, it was worse than Cena, man. They were both.
They were chatty. They were chatty. Well, who's to say, right? Maybe they all went out to the bar the night before. Maybe Austin Theory hooked up with. Anyway, maybe there's some wild tales. They didn't get a chance to talk before the match because they're competitors.
Yeah.
Why would they see each other before the match?
Okay.
And so they get out there. It's just like, dude, did you hear about Austin Theory? It's like, yeah, was that crazy? They're like, I heard Grayson Waller had a
Lord. So moving right along.
So maybe that was the chatting going on.
Maybe that was the chatting to our other title match of the evening, and we predicted this one wrong. But in hindsight, it was easy to call because you got to have a title change on these shows.
Yeah.
And this was the one to change hands. The women's tag team championship, our former champions that we christened
the Isle of Fire.
Isle of Fire, as christened by Wrestling After Show last week. They were unsuccessful in defending their championships against Jade and Bianca. I think everything that needs to be said about Jade Cargill's in-ring performance has been said at this point. I will say this: she did 2 new moves.
There we go.
There was a spine buster, and what was the other one? What was the other one she did?
Another move.
Another move, ladies and gentlemen. So and this is year 3 or 4 of her training.
She has already eclipsed Lex Luger.
Yeah. She was fine. And like I said, she looks great.
Bianca
sold her ass off the whole time. And I think my comment during the match was, at some point when the friction gets to going on between those two, that's going to be something that Bianca can that will be a bone of contention, I believe. She's like, hey, we have these matches and I'm in there the entire time.
Yeah,
like you gotta come on.
Why don't they beat you up for 10 minutes or 7 minutes in the middle of the match and you do the go home spot?
So we were wrong on that one.
Thanks a lot, Robert Gibson.
And they didn't tease any drama in that match either.
No. And way too. I mean, the official predictions out there are these guys. I mean, like, this is the match for WrestleMania.
Yeah, so they got plenty.
So, and hence, that's why we said no need for a title switch now. However, and I don't think it was addressed on Raw. We did have a foot under the rope, under the rope.
Really?
Yes.
I thought I saw that.
Yeah.
And they never. And then I was like, okay, well,
so that could be brought up on SmackDown. We could have we could have. I don't think we're going to have a reversal because we did have the tag team champions on Monday Night Raw. But we could be in store for a rematch, and maybe we flip flop again.
Yeah,
I hate flip flopping at championships, but this one I'll allow because once again I don't feel I don't need these guys to be a tag team for. I mean, we love long term storytelling as we'll get to in our next match. But do we really need these guys as champions sprinkling the friction from September to April?
Yeah. Yeah,
that's a lot of distance on the tires.
Yeah. You don't need all that. Yeah, but we got one more match to talk about before we get to the longest term storytelling of all time, and it's the mixed tag team match with Judgment Day. Of course, Daddy Dom Mysterio and Women's World Champion Liv Morgan going up against the Terror Twins, Damian Priest and Rhea Bloody Ripley. Now, at this point, and this match was fun. Actually, I think I was a little more focused on the crudité, the platter that we had before us at Stately Haynes Manor the other day. But I watched enough of this match, and it was great. It was what it needed to be. But I am very keen to hear. This is the match that Bud the Lawyer, our casual fan, this was the main event for him.
So Bud the Lawyer came over for NXT No Mercy.
Okay.
And we watched and enjoy, and then after he goes, "Oh, what happened at Bash Berlin?" I was like, "All right, well, here I'll show you the." So put on the Cody match. Fast forward through the women's match, and I believe the Punk match was next, and we watched the Punk McIntyre match. And I was actually gonna skip to the main event, Gunther, or just stop there, just be done. And Bud the Lawyer,
not having it.
He's rubbing his hands together. He's looking straight. He goes, "Oh, this is what it's all about right here. This is my main event. This is the most important thing going on in all of professional wrestling. Is Dirty Dom.
Yeah.
He's not up to Daddy
he won't
yet.
even do it.
So, but Dirty Dom getting his from Rhea Ripley.
Yeah.
So
so he was stoked.
He was stoked. And in that match, literally, it's like the Joker smile from ear to ear. He was so happy.
So where does it go? I mean, it's not done and done. What happened with them on Monday? Was there? Yeah, that's right. They hurt her ankle. She got hung up in the ropes and that whole deal. And then we had the tag match with holy shit, Jey Uso and Damian Priest teaming up.
We bought some time.
Yeah. But I think it was initially as satisfying as everybody wanted to see. I think it's going to tide people over.
It was a perfect house show main event.
Yeah, and that's what it needed to be.
Yeah, and so with the bookends of the championship matches with no title changes, it was the perfect. Here's the good guys that you like. They win. Everyone's happy,
with a little bit left on the bone for future storytelling.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Dom didn't completely get his. Yeah. Rhea doesn't have the championship. Finn Balor still staring at Damian Priest.
I love that.
Yeah.
So as opposed to, and this is going to be the controversial take as we talk about the last match remaining and Bash in Berlin, and then move into our main topic for today. We had the strap match with CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, their second match, one-on-one.
Yes.
And the
feud began in November.
In the course of almost an 11th month feud at this point. They had their second match, and they did a couple of the spots. The main spot that we discussed last week where, one guy's going around touching the turnbuckle, and then the guy that's getting dragged behind him is touching the turnbuckle right behind him. That wasn't the finish.
Yes, but teased early, which made me so happy.
Okay, so the thing about this match is, was it physical? Yes, it was. Was it bloody? Kinda. Not really. They tried to CM Punk tried to get some color.
Well,
and
it doesn't do drugs. And can't take an aspirin.
It didn't really work, So ultimately, this match came down to two things for me. I think in a strap match, incapacitating your opponent and having to drag them around is kind of the deal.
Yeah.
And with the strap being as long as it was, that wasn't really a necessity. Your opponent could just be in one spot in the ring, and with a tug you could get over or
even without the tug
and tag, depending on where the guy was. Yeah. So there was that. And then with the way this match ended up, with CM Punk getting as decisive of a victory as he did over Drew McIntyre, for me, it doesn't really leave anywhere for this to go. I mean, as far as what I want to, it's in my mind, it's over. I mean, CM Punk got the bracelet. He gave Drew McIntyre 4, 5 go to sleeps.
Yeah, sure.
Defeated him in a sound fashion, in as sound a fashion as one can be defeated in a wrestling ring. That was how bad CM Punk defeated Drew McIntyre at Bash in Berlin. And yet, they're not done.
Yeah.
So, first off, your thoughts on the match in Berlin?
The match I liked. I felt like Punk got his sea legs back under him.
Looking good.
It was a much more of the CM Punk I wanted to see versus the CM Punk that I saw at SummerSlam.
Yeah. So
that was great. That's what I wanted. That's what I needed. I teasing our predicted finish. That's been the finish for every
strap match.
Yeah. And so long. Teasing that early and not being the finish, loved it. So happy. The 13-foot of rope or whatever it is, I feel is long enough to where they're not constricted in which they can't do more stuff.
They can get in and out of the ring easier, which and being out of the ring is what is the hallmark of any sort of like modern gimmick match. You know, they're going to be out of the ring for a while, so it does help for that.
Yeah. So and I felt that Punk kind of shortened the distance in the rope visually and theatrically to the viewer, in that he would do a go to sleep and then touch the rope. And even though he could have, after one, touched all four, he would pick him up again and do another go to sleep, you know, almost as if that rope was 8 feet or 6 feet. You know, he had to do that to do the next one, even though he didn't. And I think that was just maybe almost a subliminal thing, that he had to do it, versus us knowing that rope is long enough to touch all four.
Right.
So I'm okay. Like I'll allow it. And as far as the decisive finish, I'm cool with that as well, because literally we have a decisive finish. It's over. Monday Night Raw, he was like, look, I did it. It was decisive. We're done. I want Gunther. That's it. And then the ambush and all that. And
so jumping on to the aftermath, as you said, on Monday Night Raw this week, CM Punk comes out to the ring, starts giving the CM Punk 2024 promo. It's a great night to be alive and enter city here.
New Jordans.
And you know, he's looking good, he's looking fit, and he's like, okay, this is in the rear view now, and I'm here for money, and money in the form of championships. And so he's coming after Gunther, and he's got his bracelet back, everything's great. He's standing up on the table, and the announce table has played a central role in this whole. If you think about it, it's played a central role in this entire program between these two. Anytime anybody is standing on the announce table, you know, okay, wait, here comes something.
Don't follow Sammy into the corner.
Yeah, don't do that.
Do not stand on the announce table if you're in a Punk Drew McIntyre.
So he's standing on the announce table. Here comes Drew McIntyre in the hoodie. Okay, now we've seen this a lot, but it has never felt thin, or has never worn thin for me in this entire time. And then it's like, okay, well, here we go. And, you know, he's throwing the beat down on him. And I really, I'm like, okay, now it feels like we're beating a dead horse. I mean, for me. And I do love the fact that they did the chase out to the ambulance. You know, they got Punk on the stretcher. Apparently, those little beads, if they get in your mouth and then you get kicked and the beads fly out, that's going to cause some internal bleeding that you're going to have to cough that blood up a little bit later on. So you got that. That looks great on paper. But if this had been before that strap match, but now it's just like, and I get that, you know, everybody's, it's going to be Hell in the Cell of Bad Blood. And it's like, but I don't know. The need for that match, the need to sell those tickets, is betraying the story at this point, because the story, as they've laid it out for me, doesn't need a third match. Your thoughts?
All right, two things. And Jason Powell mentioned one of these on the Pro Wrestling Boom
Jason
podcast.
Powell, our good friend at ProWrestling.net.
ProWrestling.net, Pro Wrestling Boom podcast. I was on
friend of the show.
Tuesday. Yeah, thank you. And so as he mentioned, there are many people that have the same thought process as you. It's just like, we saw this on SmackDown, the backstage beatdown. And then Jason Powell's just like, and I believe he thought he had seen this, and he was just like, they did such an amazing job months ago with the same beatdown. We didn't see the beatdown months ago. Yeah. We saw the garage door and all that, and there was no
beatdown. Yeah. He wasn't cleared yet. Yeah.
He wasn't cleared as an implied beatdown. And they did such a good job, just like, we've already seen it. It's just like, no, we haven't. We actually got to see the beatdown this time.
We did get to see the beatdown. Have it in the ring right in front of everybody.
So that part is an upgrade.
Okay.
So I'm cool with that. The beads. I thought this was going to go a different direction.
Okay.
All right. I have a bracelet.
that you refuse to wear for our adoring audience.
I literally have it on my ready to put on, but I when I run, I don't wear it. I take it off to run, and then I put it on after we do the podcast.
Okay. What was your vision for the beads?
All right. I'm a pet owner. I got Jimmy the cat.
Okay.
You got Sapphire the dog.
I sure do.
I thought Larry was going to eat this bracelet.
Okay.
And I was scared that CM Punk was going to have to go through and
the poop,
get the beads back.
Yeah. That
who's going through Punk's poo to get the
Oh no, I think those beads got expelled.
You think?
Oh yeah, you can see it. Like when he got kicked. I mean that was the visual. He got kicked in the face with that Claymore kick, and those beads.
I feel like some
maybe that's what's causing that vicious internal bleeding.
Some may have gone the other way. Scratch the trachea.
But the question is, is there still heat for this thing?
I'm more than okay. Yeah.
You're okay with
there's heat. I like spitting up blood. I love the ambulance. Always.
Like I said, I love all that too. Yeah. I love all that too.
There's still meat on the bone. I understand it's a little long in the tooth for you, and a little thin on some.
Well, it's not even any of that. It's just the fact that
is the decisive victory guy.
If the finish in Berlin if there had been just a little bit of a question mark, or maybe not even a question mark, just not as much of a period exclamation point as they put on it in Berlin.
Well, I think the period was done to give you the false feud.
The false. Okay, now we're done. Yeah.
Well, it's just like now we're done. I Gunther, and it was like, holy shit.
No, we're not.
Yeah, holy shit. We got Gunther CM Punk. I mean, you have fans for a minute, not us.
Yeah,
because we were just like, no way. They have not like who are you putting in Hell in a Cell? Dirty Daddy Dom and Rhea.
I think they are going to go for Gunther Punk, because I think Punk wants to put him over. And I think that would be
well. Then Punk has to beat Drew.
Punk has to beat Drew
in Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, which is still unannounced, still conjecture at this point.
Which I'm okay with. And then Gunther Punk does the job for Gunther.
Yeah,
and then Drew Seth comes back. Seth gets to avenge his beatdown on Bronson Reed.
That's got to happen.
And so Seth is hot, and then Drew gets his heat back on a victorious Seth coming out of the Bronson Reed feud.
Wild speculation on the part of Jonny Fairplay, ladies and gentlemen, but it could all come true. And that, again, if there's any theme that runs through all of Wrestling After Show,
reckless speculation.
It's reckless speculation, and also we're all about. Not necessarily what just happened. We're all about what's coming up next.
Yeah.
What's coming up next. And in that spirit.
Well, so before we switch over to NXT, that's where Gunther.
Okay.
Calling out Sami Zayn.
Oh, yeah, on Raw. Yeah.
So
Sami Zayn calls out Gunther.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sami Zayn calling out Gunther. That's the direction I need for Gunther. I want to see Gunther being the Intercontinental Champion, dominating
the World Champion.
Champion. I want to see the Intercontinental version of the World Champion version of the Intercontinental version of Gunther, dominating, fighting from on top. Sammy, the top three. I mentioned this on Jason Powell's podcast. Top three baby faces from fighting underneath of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Sami Zayn, Ricky Steamboat, Ricky Morton.
Okay, there it is. Yeah,
and
I dig it.
And you got someone else on that list?
No, and it gives Sammy was ultimately unsuccessful in his campaign to regain the Intercontinental Championship from Braun Breaker. What's he going to do next? Well, let him do this, and then that sets him up nicely for we got shit canned by Braun Breaker. Gunther just shit canned you again. Now what are you going to do? And that lines him up for going back to the bloodline and doing that. So it gives Sammy something to do, solidifies Gunther's reign, takes out any question marks because the one question mark was, okay, Randy Orton. Well, he eliminated that, and it's like, okay, well, the one guy that's beaten you on the main roster, Sami Zayn, if he can take him out, then yeah. Well, then Dragunov, which they have been referencing a little bit their previous battles in NXT,
but not referencing losses.
Yeah, no, they haven't. So yeah, you still got him down the road, and we got an appearance from him this week.
Yeah,
where he had been kind of MIA to the point where I was going back in the old memory banks, and it's a little bit rusty, but I was like, did he get hurt? Is there a reason we haven't been seeing him?
I think it was the Braun Breaker beatdown.
A little bit of that. Yeah. So he's selling that.
But I think they de-emphasize it because they're overly emphasizing the Bronson Reed beatdowns to other people.
Right. Well, that's kind of my thoughts on the big, my big story of the week thus far.
You like Bronson Reed. I don't know if you heard. So he had COVID this week.
Yeah.
So that's why I wasn't there.
Yeah.
Are you ready for big Bronson Reed to just beat the shit out of Braun Strowman? Or does this need to go? Does this need to make its way all the way to Bad Blood? Or
it's Braun Strowman. I mean, I wish he's great for the kids. I think, and that's
well, no, he's not. That's not if you read his tweets.
But he's somebody, well, and I guess they're not doing the choo-choo train thing anymore. But I don't care about Braun Strowman.
But are you okay to string it out for a month?
No, not really, because I'm not into the whole Haas fight psychology. It's like, it's like, as always, going back to old Crockett wrestling for us. It's like when you had the Road Warriors, and they just had great matches with, the Four Horsemen, the Midnight Express, and then they put them up against almost their doppelgangers and the Powers of Pain.
Yeah.
Who cares? It's just like, now it's just like four big dudes kind of not selling for each other, except for, the Road Warriors end up selling. And it's just like, I would rather see, a little bit of variation in a matchup. And so you got Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman, although, you look at them and one guy's taller. Uh-oh, there we go. Hey.
We did it.
Everybody, we're the concept. We're going to play.
Every time. You got to start it from the beginning.
Yes.
You got to start it from the beginning.
We love it.
It's 90 minutes long, fair play.
Yes.
Anyway, I can still hear it. This sucks. Anyway, there I am, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. Yeah, I don't care. Yeah, just shit can Braun Strowman, get him the fuck out of there. And I can't wait for Seth to come back because I can't stand Seth Rollins and I want to see him. I know he's gonna probably win the feud, but I'd like to see him get the shit kicked out of him for a little while.
I feel the only we've seen this over the years, and I feel that it's a concept that we've seen just over the years. It's we have it's the Battle of the Bulls. It's just like, what's gonna happen when when Terry Gordy is standing across from Stan Hansen or Dr. Death is across from Bam Bam Bigelow. We built up these matches in our head over the years, and I feel there is a successful yet failed chemistry in this that worked a lot better back in the day than it does today. In that back in the day, we used to have jobber matches. So you would have Stan Hansen just beat the shit out of somebody.
Yeah.
Right. And then you would have Terry Gordy beat the shit out of somebody. And then, and they one of them talk about the other one, and then the other one talk about the other one. And that would take, 2 to 3 weeks. And you finally get them face to face. It's like, holy shit, what's going to happen? And then the big pull apart, and they beat up other people, but not each other, blah, blah, blah. Then you have the match. It's a turd.
Yeah. But that's the thing. It's like you have, but it's not just one match, because back then you're booking for, house shows. So it's
well,
like,
but the match is a turd.
So they have the match, yeah, but they sell out everywhere they go
because you want to see the match. So that
works that time.
Yeah, but the problem is now we don't have jobbers.
Not now,
so we have to have Big Bronson Reed versus Big Braun Strowman.
And we've already seen that match. You see that match once on TV. They went out and they did the car stunt. So that leads to like one more match, maybe, with like some stipulation, probably a Bad Blood. But is that going to be? And I guess Bad Blood, to me, it's not a Night of Champions caliber pay-per-view where I don't see where there has to be a lot of titles necessarily online. So
no.
It probably it is a PLE that sells itself probably more so on grudge matches. So the fact that we'll do a Braun Strowman, Bronson Reed grudge match at Bad Blood. How much alliteration can we stand? Braun, Bronson, Bad Blood,
big.
So we're gonna get that
boobies
probably, and I'm fine. I like that they're doing something with Bronson Reed.
Oh, yeah.
However, a big man that we will not be seeing anymore on Monday Night Raw is Odyssey Jones. So that draws.
What have you heard? The rumor and innuendo. What's?
Oh, it's domestic violence.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So so he's
zero tolerance.
Fired, gone from WWE. So that storyline.
But everyone was hanging by a thread. Well, not Hulu, because they didn't show it.
So that storyline with the New Day and the ongoing story with New Day and whatever the fuck Karrion Kross's Wild Bunch is called, sure. I guess hits another skid mark.
The skid mark is pretty apropos for this entire thing.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. But Fairplay, let's see. Let's talk a little bit about our friends over in NXT. Now, I had a brief dalliance with NXT recently, where I was gonna at least watch the Hulu version every week and familiarize myself with the goings on in NXT, just because one reason: Tiffany Stratton. Sure. For me, came out of nowhere. When she showed up on SmackDown, and I was just like, holy shit, where did she come from? And the fact that I missed out on a big part of her trajectory, I was like, I need to get in on the ground floor on some of these NXT kids. And it just did not that it didn't hold my attention. I love Trick Williams. I love,
what's that Trick?
He's amazing. I love Trick Williams. Booker T's commentary is a lot for me, and I do not buy Roxanne Perez. I don't buy her deal, and also the Chase U guys kind of annoy the shit out of me. So whereas historically I would maybe give the NXT PLEs a chance, I bowed out and did not watch this one. You, however,
I don't normally watch
like a true wrestling after show soldier. Watched NXT. I can't. It was a No Exit. Was that what it was called?
No Mercy.
No Mercy.
Yeah. Well, they recycled the old WCW and WWE abandoned pay-per-view.
Tip of the hat to Dusty Rhodes, because he came up with all that shit. So I love that.
Well, No Mercy was a WWF one.
Oh, No Mercy was that's right.
I was actually at WWF No Mercy, I believe, in Charlotte, and my wife at the time, Triple H, asked to do, and she did the
boobs. There we go. No lawsuit involved.
Yeah.
So what were your takeaways from the NXT PLE on Sunday? First off, where do they do it? Because I know they weren't in Berlin.
No, where they filmed Monday Night Raw, Denver, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're in a big arena.
All
right.
Yeah, and so Chase U was unsuccessful in defending the champ. They lost the championships, tag straps or whatever. And I don't know that. Well, anyway, Chase U lost. Ridge Holland turned afterwards, and the Bobby Knight guy, he beats him up on the announce table.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're not at Full Sail, and the fact that they're not, this cultured Chase U fan club student section is not. The crowd is chanting one more time.
So yeah,
but truth, as Jason Powell mentioned, he was just like, this is kind of a recurring theme in 2024 wrestling. Like Seth Rollins is a very over baby face, like ridiculously over baby face. And when Bronson Reed's doing the splash, they're chanting one more time.
Yeah.
So,
well, let's get into that for a second. So, I would say historically, the NXT to main roster pipeline has been filled with, some success stories, but more often than not, something in the presentation doesn't translate over to the main roster.
Well, Chase U will be that.
And so what is it, do you think, what is it about the NXT environment where those, so I'm thinking of tag teams specifically, acts like the Vaudevillains, your boys, Pretty Deadly. Who were the
Ascension?
The Ascension, yeah, those Road Warrior clones. Yeah. Like, so those acts were all massively over on NXT in that small environment, and then a popcorn fart, if you will. What is it? Is it because the presentation obviously works? Is it the size of the audience? What do you think that is?
I think it's a.
Is it a charitable nature, you think, maybe of that audience? Because
I think it's one of those. These are our people.
Yeah,
and it's just like, this is what we got. This is what we do on Tuesday nights. Like, we have two options as fans. We can shit on everything, or we can embrace it.
Yeah.
And I think they go and they're just like, let's have a fun Tuesday night, and let's boo the people we need to boo. Let's cheer the people we need to cheer. And let's be here for this journey.
And you obviously have a lot of repeat audience members and that crowd. So I think that's probably got to have a lot to do with it as well. That's interesting. I didn't mean to cut you off there, but that was just something that popped in, because that has happened over and over again. And you can look at a lot of situations and where they take somebody. Karrion Kross was super over on NXT. They bring him up, they put him in the stupid shredder mask, and so they fuck with his presentation to the point where, like, well, how do you expect him to get over, because you're not letting him do any of the things they got. But a team like Vaudevillains and Pretty Deadly, they're doing the same gimmick.
But I don't think Vince watched NXT.
Well, no.
I think he sees like a 2-minute highlight video. He's like, oh, okay, great. He sees that 30 seconds. He goes, oh, I got it. It's this.
Yeah.
And that's not even the gimmick at all.
Yeah.
So when we brought Karrion Kross and Scarlett up, he goes, she's hot. Let's see her wrestle. And they're like, well, she doesn't wrestle. What? Whoa, what's she been doing? And I was like, not wrestling.
Mm-hmm. Did she ever wrestle on the main roster? Did they try to do that?
Yeah, they put her in a match.
Wow. Yeah, so, I didn't know that. I think I was taking a break.
So and then and then he was like, well, get rid of her.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, have you seen her? She don't need to wrestle.
Yeah, that was the whole thing with her. So other anything else from the PLE?
So the big thing for me was of course the main event. It was Joe Hendry versus All Ego Ethan Page, our champion of NXT. Trick Williams, special guest referee.
Now, you were talking about this with me. Now you have some. It's funny because we have similar takes, I feel like, on Joe Hendry. You're more in the Joe Hendry pipeline than I am, but we both noticed something about his physicality.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a cool point to make.
Well, peek behind the curtain, Pro Wrestling Tees. The second this T-shirt was made available, I purchased it. I love I believe in Joe Hendry. I love the gimmick. I love all of it. I went down the rabbit hole watching a bunch of his song things that he's done, over the years. And this guy has been in the pipeline on the indie circuit for years. And so, truth be told, this is the first Joe Hendry match I've ever seen in my life. I have never seen this guy wrestle a match until NXT No Mercy. And so he comes out, he turns around and just like, I believe in Joe.
No,
I'm all in.
He knows where that camera is at all times.
And a lot of people in NXT did not know where
Yeah.
that camera is. So, for those of you casting stones, why did Finn Balor need to be? I'm pretty sure he figured it out, but there's a lot of people in NXT that do not know where the hard camera is and don't know where that number one camera is. There's two cameras you really need to figure out. Anyway, so Joe Hendry knows what the camera is. So he gets in there, he gets in the ring. I look and I'm just like, all right, this is the biggest moment of this guy's life. You'd think he would have, maybe skipped a couple pints, maybe would have hit the gym a little more, maybe would have done a cycle.
He's a little doughy, not as lean as you might. He's got good size on him.
Yeah.
And a little bit of upper body definition.
But he's got a little
paunchy.
A little paunchy. And I come there and just like, what is this guy doing? But then I'm watching the match and it hits me. I come there and just like, this dude doesn't need to be cycling right now. He doesn't need to not do a pint hanging with the fans the night before at the bar. He's the everyman, or as you said, an any man.
Yeah.
And Jason Powell and I from Pro Wrestling Torch, we talked about this on the Boom podcast. He's LA Knight.
Huh. That's interesting considering your opinion of LA Knight.
I know. LA Knight, the guy that was a bad guy in the Indies, that I was like, rock ripoff. He's been, 20 years, didn't make it, give up, tap out. And now he's got his chance. He botches a promo, one line in a promo, botches one move every match. It's like, I get it, good for him. I appreciate the story, blah, blah, blah. Joe Hendry's the same guy, but a baby face. You would think we would have the reverse roles. It should be you be going like, hey, Jonny Fairplay, Joe Hendry, and just like, he's got it. What is happening in our world?
So you get to see Joe Hendry in ring, and apart from his physical condition, which you initially were not too into, but then you
it's perfect for
come
the
to realization it's part of the whole presentation.
Yes.
What did you think of the match? So it was a world title match or NXT title match against All Ego Ethan Page with Trick Williams as special guest referee. Yeah, correct.
Yes.
What were your thoughts on the match?
It's a really good match. Everyone played their part well. Trick, didn't want to help Ethan Page. Just hates him, and of course, we go for the belt thing, and Trick gets knocked out. And new referee comes in. And it's the belt shot for the finish. He comes back in. He's like, no, he hit him with the belt. We ain't doing that finish, blah, blah, blah. Restart the match. And goes to remove the belt. Kick to the nuts, and then the reluctant 1, 2, 3. So good match, right finish. I'm sure Joe Hendry would love the NXT championship, but he's a TNA wrestler.
Well, as far as the NXT TNA crossover experimentation that they've been doing, do you see that ongoing, or do you see there's like sort of a shelf life on it? And it's like, so let's say, Joe Hendry's unsuccessful in this championship match. Like, are we going to see more of him on NXT? Are we going to see less? Like,
I don't know. I didn't watch this week's episode. I was too busy having 18-year-olds hit my car.
That's a story. That's for another time.
That's become a realitypatron.com. I'll tell you that. So,
I think barring any unforeseen circumstances that happen in the next 2 or 3 minutes, I think we might be done here with this wrestling after show.
Absolutely.
Podcast. We'd like to thank everybody for tuning in today and remind you to subscribe to the Reality After Show YouTube channel and turn your notifications on to get all those notifications when we go live on the air. We've been pretty good at sticking to our schedule, going live here on YouTube every Thursday afternoon, 2 p.m. Eastern time. But if for some reason you're not able to catch us live, you can catch it anytime on YouTube by just going to the Reality After Show channel and looking for the Wrestling After Show under the live tabs. We're also available wherever, like Spotify, Apple Podcasts,
Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts,
wherever podcasts are consumed. And we'd appreciate you if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, leave us a a nice review. And while you're at it, if you're watching us on YouTube, leave a like, leave a comment. Fairplay reads all of them and takes them to heart, good or bad. So if you want to make
I read them.
if you want to make his day, you can make his day. If you
Sure.
want to maybe take him down a peg, here's an opportunity.
Why would you encourage that?
Why indeed?
Yes.
Engagement, baby. Engagement. That's what it's all about. Let's drop some plugs. What are you up to in the real world?
Sure. Next Thursday, I'll be in Charlotte, North Carolina. It is a challenge party, challenge season 40. It's myself, Paulie Calafiore, Cara Maria. She's on the Mount Rushmore of challenge competitors. We will be at Protagonist Beer. Tickets available at challengetix.com. That's on 9/11 next Wednesday night. Challengetix.com, challengetix.com. The following Wednesday, I will be in Charlotte, back at Protagonist Beer. Survivor 47 premiere party. Go to survivortix.com. That's survivortix.com on Wednesday, September 18th. The premiere of a new season of Survivor, reality after show, the network that you're watching, wrestling after show. We have coverage of the challenge. We have coverage of Anonymous. We have coverage of Survivor. We have plenty more shows. Join the pipeline. The Circle starting next week. I'm going to be in Nashville September 14th for a big CBS Survivor event. So yeah, check all my socials at Jonny Fairplay, no H in Johnny, JONNYFAIRPLAY.com. Yeah.
That's how you do it, ladies and gentlemen. If you're in the Danville, Virginia vicinity, ladies and gentlemen, you can catch me every Friday afternoon in my home turf, my home neighborhood of Schoolfield right here in Danville, Virginia, where I'm doing a little event. It's called Crankin' Tunes at the Water Tower. It's me and all my records and my big loud PA set up underneath the water tower in the heart of Schoolfield. And this nice, previously was shaded, now not so much. But we got a nice little area. Bring yourself, bring your cooler, bring your chair to sit yourself down in and enjoy some vinyl rock and roll action every Friday afternoon in Schoolfield, beginning at 4 p.m. and going till, it gets too dark to play those records.
What's the theme this Friday?
Well, the theme this Friday is First Friday in Schoolfield, which
Sure.
Which happens every first Friday in Schoolfield. So in addition to myself playing records, there's also going to be a bouncy castle out there for the kids. We're going to have food truck, antique car show, yoga on the lawn, free hot dogs, and a lot more fun in store. And that's tomorrow, September 6th. And all that kicks off at 5 p.m. I'll be out there at 4 p.m. just cranking some tunes. However,
no vinyl theme for the day.
Oh no, just music for the people.
Music.
It's always
for the people.
It's always music for the people.
You gonna play the Rocks theme?
I'm not gonna play the Rocks theme.
Oh,
I will play Iron Man by Black Sabbath, though. I think I will do that.
I'm here for it.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that's all that we have going on, and that's all that we have time for this week on this episode of Wrestling After Show. Please join us next time, where we're going to be doing another freewheeling conversation all about our favorite wrestling goings on. For Jonny Fairplay, I'm Heath Haynes. We'll see you at the matches.
Till next time. Bye, folks.